Hello, everyone. Welcome to Cherry the Geek TV. I'm Joe Vanourney. Today we are joined by Kate Dolan. She is the co-writer and director of the fantastic new Blumhouse movie Soulmate, which is available on VOD platforms starting on August 1st. Kate, welcome to Cherry the Geek TV.
Hello,
Uh,
thanks for having me.
so this film has sci-fi elements that harken back to films like RoboCop, which dealt with corporate ownership of the soul, and it also has throwbacks to those old '90s erotic thrillers. I was wondering if you could tell me about your influences for this and how you took them and took those influences and expanded them to create this film.
Yeah, I think, what first really drew me to the project when I was first asked about it by Atomic and Blumhouse was that it was an erotic thriller, but it was, set in modern with technology. And I was like, okay, how's this going to work? But I think what really drew me to it was that those films like Fatal Attraction, Hand That Rocks the Cradle, all those kind of domestic thrillers, like I used to love watching them with my mom when I was younger, and they were a big kind of fun Friday night movie in my house. So I had a real draw to that genre. And then, so when I started writing the script, I just started rewatching all those films. And, I think a lot that they have in common is they feel very lush and they feel very punchy and colorful, and but also can be very deep shadows and kind of harsh moonlight, like quite bright moonlight. So we really kind of jumped off visually with using those movies and how they look and feel to create the feel of the movie. But then I think thematically, Verhoeven was a big reference, just kind of with the satirical edge of the story, and what we're trying to say about technology and its relationship, between people and technology. And so yeah, RoboCop was a big reference as well, because it tackles similar kind of thematic ground. Yeah.
I did an interview with the director of an AI documentary last month for Tribeca, and he said that when he started the documentary to the time he finished it, AI had changed so much that it had felt outdated, and even from the time of the edit was finished to the time it premiered at the festival. And he goes, and probably by the time we finish this interview, it's going to have changed so much that anything I say right now in this interview is going to feel obsolete. Did you have that similar challenge, face those obstacles when you were conceiving the script and making the film? Did you think it was going one way and you're like, wow, this real life, real world's caught up with this already, and it's already we have to pivot.
Yeah, it was really interesting actually, because when I first started the script, it was probably the end of 2023, just after the writer's strike ended. And back then, even the idea that you would fall in love with an AI companion was kind of still science fiction enough that we were like, okay, we can kind of play around with this idea. Um and then yeah, as we were in the edit, and like it's just wild to see the even some of the elements that we use in the movie about, like, what's listening to you, what's watching you, like the LC that's kind of recording you and listening to you all the time, and stuff like that. And ever since we shot the movie and finished it, there's all these other devices now that kind of are part of the lexicon of like of our world. And it's just like quite wild to see. I think like it's very hard to write a satirical film in this day and age, because I think the satire just kind of like gets outrun by the real things that are happening day to day, which is kind of wild. Yeah.
What would you say was the biggest challenge you faced in making the film? And then on the opposite end of the spectrum, what was maybe a big surprise, something that you were kind of dreading going in, and then as you did it, you're like, oh, this worked out. This worked out a lot better than we thought it was going to work out.
Yeah, I think it was a challenging schedule. We didn't have a lot of days to shoot the movie, and it was a very ambitious film in terms of set pieces and how we wanted it to look as well. Me and my DP and light it and all of that to make it feel really lush. So it was challenging just to kind of get everything we needed in the time that we had. Um, but I think we had an amazing crew that really kind of brought it every day and just like worked their asses off to make it happen. And all Irish crew, shout out, they were all really amazing. And then what really surprised me, I think, or like was a positive, was I think I was very nervous about whoever was going to play Sarah and how to kind of bring that performance to life. And that robotic kind of movement and speech, and it was going to be, it needed to be someone who could really kind of take on all of that, and really um was up for a challenge. And then we cast Lily Sullivan, and she's just like unbelievable. She's so just puts in so much work, and she is such a joy. She never gets kind of phased by anything. We had her like strapped to the front of a car at one stage, and she was just like, "Woohoo! I'm having a great time." We were like, not every, there's not a lot of actresses in the world, I think, who would be happy to stand in a fountain at midnight on a cold October evening in Ireland and do it with a smile, and still give an amazing performance. So she's just like she's a powerhouse. So she was such a joy to, and David too, and Claudia, all the cast were amazing. But Lily had an extra set of kind of stuff to contend with, which was difficult. So she really pulled it all together. Yeah.
They're all amazing. The film's amazing. You can see Kate's film Soulmates streaming on VOD platforms starting August 1st. Kate, thank you so much for chatting with us today on Terry the Geek TV.
Thank you so much. Thanks a million. See ya.